Joyce, I really appreciate you doing this.
Yeah.
Well, mainly, this is a chance for you to share your story with the church
have it
and
all
with Sunday
written down.
Fellowship. Yeah, you've got the biography that
Yeah,
your
my
dad
father
wrote right
wrote
there.
Yes, I got.
So how did you feel about it when you first read it?
I thought it was nice that he did that.
Yeah.
He wrote a story about me
Yeah. Why do you think he wrote it?
so that other people could learn more about me, I guess.
So that people could know you more and learn more
Yes.
about you. Yeah. In the biography, he spends a lot of time talking about the treatment that you went through for almost 2 years called patterning.
Yes.
It says in there that it started around the fall of 1967 when you were about 13.
Yes.
And then it continued until April 1968. And so I tried to find out about patterning, and from what I can gather, it's a treatment that was developed by a doctor named Glenn Doman in the 1960s. And it was basically a regimen of physical therapy and mental therapies that were designed to help people with brain injuries.
Yes, still going today, I think.
Right, I did see that too. So if I understand correctly, the main therapy was to be on your stomach on a table and to have 5 people moving arms and legs and head.
Yes.
In a pattern. And that would happen in 3 different sessions each day for 5 minutes, and then a break, and then another 5 minutes.
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct.
Right. And then in addition to the physical therapy piece, there were also like mental exercises and writing exercises you had to do.
Yes.
And also some restrictions on your life and your
Yes.
habits, right?
Right.
Do you remember what those were?
I had to crawl all the time, and I couldn't eat sugar and stuff.
Yeah, I was amazed at some of the
desserts.
restrictions you had. So no walking,
No.
only crawling,
Crawling.
and there was no sugar,
I had to give up desserts.
no desserts. I bet that was hard.
But I'm still sort of doing white desserts, but not very often now.
Oh, really? So you still eat?
Because my sugar levels are a little bit too high.
Oh,
But I
okay.
still eat dessert once in a while.
Okay. So as a kid, was that hard for you to give up
Yes.
dessert?
And
Yeah.
the whole family did it.
Oh, the whole family gave up dessert in solidarity. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. I wonder how that went over with everyone.
I wasn't that happy about it.
And then I saw that you couldn't smell cigarette smoke, which I could understand. That's not a healthy
Yeah,
thing.
no one in our family smoked.
So that was easy.
Yeah.
But what about music?
My mother I moved the piano over to the church so my mother could give piano lessons once a week.
Now, why couldn't you keep the piano at home?
Because I didn't want me to listen to music. I don't know why.
So you couldn't listen to music for any of that time?
No, I don't know why, but for some reason I didn't want me listening to music.
That's fascinating. I don't know why either. But your mom was a piano teacher, right?
Yes.
So
Yes, that's what she used to do.
right. So you had to move the piano to the church
Yes.
where your dad worked.
Yes, they did.
So lots of changes for your family and for you during that time
Yes.
in order to do the therapy.
Yes.
What else do you remember about patterning?
And they had a lot of volunteers coming in to help.
Yeah? What was it like for you to do all this patterning?
People from our church and people from the Catholic Church. It was a lot of work, but no one thought it would help me.
Yeah. So did you know then how much work it was?
No,
No.
not till I got started.
Yeah, not till you got started. How did you feel about it as a 13-year-old? Was it fun? Was it annoying?
I guess it was kind of fun to do something different.
It was kind of fun. Yeah, I think you had to stop going to school.
Yes, yes, I did. I stopped going to school.
Wow. How did you feel about that?
It was different not being in school.
It was different, yeah? Did you miss your friends at school?
Yes.
Did you still see them at all, or
No.
not really? So there's a lot of changes in your life to do this.
Yes.
Your dad says in the biography that to meet the demands of the schedule, you guys needed the help of 15 people every day,
Yes.
which was 105 people each week.
Yes.
So according to him, most of the volunteers that you guys had came from the churches.
Yeah, from our church, and then they got some people from the Catholic Church too.
Mm-hmm.
The priest found out about it, and they got him some volunteers.
Which church did your dad work at?
Acting Congregational.
And is that where you're still a member?
Yes.
In the biography, your uncle says that, or your dad writes that your uncle noticed pretty much right away that something was different about you. That you just seemed brighter, kind of more alert, just after even 2 months of the patterning.
Yeah, I think it did make a difference.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you how you felt about it. Did you feel like it made a difference for you?
Yeah, it did make a difference, and I was finally able to learn how to read. It took a long time to learn how to read.
Wow, okay. Right.
Now, they had been helping me do that in school, learn my phonics and stuff. But I hadn't started reading yet.
Mm-hmm. And you're an amazing reader now. I mean,
Yes.
I've seen you read almost every time we have Sunday fellowship.
Yes, I was eventually able to become a good reader.
Mm-hmm. Do you read for pleasure now, or?
Yes, I have magazines that I buy. I read for pleasure, and I buy the daily newspaper.
Mm. So interesting. So you noticed some changes in your ability to read. Any changes in your physical abilities?
Not really.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you already know that patterning isn't considered an effective treatment anymore, and even though they don't claim that it's going to be a cure, I wonder if you agree or disagree with the assessment that patterning is effective.
I think it's effective, but people have to know that's not a cure.
Right. Okay. Your dad wrote these words. He said, "We scurried around every morning to make sure the house is all straightened up by 10 a.m. when the first team would arrive. They did their 5 minutes of work, and then they would go into the kitchen where there was always a pot of coffee and hot water for tea. Sometimes a volunteer stayed with you, Joyce, to watch you crawl and then help you write large words on the blackboard.
They helped me with my reading.
Mm-hmm. And then you would draw boxes with a third dimension?
Yes.
And your dad says, we enjoyed the patterners, and they seemed to look forward to their weekly sessions. How often does anyone have the experience of being with the same people each week, performing a simple but useful task, and then get to enjoy a cup of coffee and free-ranging conversation for a half hour? He writes, several years later, one woman told me that her son was going through a mental breakdown in the patterning months. She said she never talked about it, but how she looked forward to that Monday afternoon where she could be with other people and laugh and talk and forget about her own troubles for a while. So from that description, it sounds like your parents, even though it was a lot of work, and the volunteers enjoyed being part of patterning.
Yeah, I think they did.
You think so? What was it like for you? Did it feel weird to have so many strangers coming into the house?
It feel weird not being able to walk. I had to crawl all the time.
Yeah.
I couldn't walk.
The biography goes on to talk about a lot more than just patterning. That was done by the time you were 15 years old. And how old are you now?
I was born in 1953. I'm 69.
So you're 69. And what are you proudest of, your accomplishments? You've done so much in your life between living on your own, and I know you've traveled.
And I was proud that I was able to find myself a second job when I lost my first job.
Yeah, why don't you tell me a little bit about that? Your first job was where?
At Raytheon in Bedford. I used to work for the food service company in the snack bar. But then I lost my job over there, so I had to find another one.
So I know that your dad was a pastor and that you have been a church member at Acton Congregational most of your life.
Yes,
And you're also a longtime member of Sunday Fellowship.
yes. I don't remember when I started, but it's been going for quite a while.
Well, it sounds like faith and church has been a huge part of your life.
Yes, it has been.
Yeah. So, what do you think is important about having church in your life? Like, if you were telling someone who had never gone to church or didn't really know much about faith or church, what would you tell them is good about it?
Well, I enjoy going, and I enjoy helping other people. I donate money to the offering and I give to charities. And some of my charities have matching gift campaigns, so I make sure I give when they're doing the match so I can donate more money.
Yeah.
So I'm able to donate a lot more money than I'm actually giving.
Yeah. You always keep me aware
Because
when the March of Dimes is doing their matching.
Yeah. So I'm able to donate a lot more money than I'm actually giving to charities.
Mm-hmm.
And I also shop at stores and businesses that donate some of their profits to charities. That's another way people can support charities.
Yeah. Why do you think it's important for people to give to charity?
Because I think it's important to try and help other people that are less fortunate.
Yeah.
That don't have as much as you do.
Mm-hmm.